Tara. Green Tara, white Tara, red Tara, Tibetan Tara, seven-eyed Tara, Indian Tara, Tantric Tara, Agori Tara, Shmashana Tara, Tara of the graveyard, Tara of compassion, Tara of grace. In the following we'll speak a little bit. We'll give a taster about these different aspects, hypostasis of Tara, and especially the essential goddess, the essential macrocosmic power that stands in the heart of all these different manifestations. In Tibet, she is the mother of all Bodhisattvas. Avalokiteshvara wanted to empty samsara from all beings and ignorance and suffering, and when he thought he succeeded but could not succeed, he cried, and one of his tears entered a flower with many petals, and as many petals, so many aspects of Tara that manifested to fulfill or to help him to fulfill his mission. In Tibet, Tara is one of the most important deities. She's evoked quite unanimously in almost all the currents of Tibetan schools, of all the Tibetan Tantra. She's very much evoked as the goddess of compassion, and she is the protector. Maybe we take some of her aspects there as the green Tara. Yeah, there's this mantra, Tara tu Tare, Tare Swaha, where she is the swift one to protect, to liberate, to illuminate. In India, we find very, very ancient depictions of Tara in the teachings of the great Mahavidyas. So she is the second Mahavidya. Kali, who is somehow very famous in India, is the first, and Tara, which in the Indian descriptions of the Mahavidyas looks very similar to Kali, not exactly, but very similar to Kali. So this depiction is much, much less spread in today's world than the Tibetan depictions of Tara, but actually is very ancient, and there was a whole lot of exchange between these two traditions. She is again described here as a great macrocosmic power, so she is the very fabric of the universe, which again the key word is Daya, or compassion. Tara was traditionally associated as the shower of the path, as the morning star, as the star that guides the boats in the night. Yeah. She is somehow the light of the first spiritual awakening, the light of understanding. And her worship is arguably one of the most accessible forms of spiritual practice. So there are deities like other Mahavidyas, like Bagalamukhi, for example, which the preparation to worship them and to connect with them are much more complex, and you need to have a higher spiritual level to reach. With Tara, and this is perhaps the most beautiful and sweet aspect, all you need to do is be a good child. There is a wish inside of everybody that has a concept of divinity, of God, of some kind of a protective intelligence, wisdom, love of the universe. There is a wish to just be children again, like we were children when we were 3 or 4, and we asked what appeared as almighty parents for what we need, and they took care of us. Tara is like that. You just ask. She is, to quote my teacher Advaita, the emergency mechanism of the universe. Wherever you call, you ring, boom, 911 or whatever. There's a quick number not something very complicated until you reach the emergency. You just call, and she comes very quickly, swiftly, yeah, like green Tara. She's swift, quick to help, the savior, quick to save. If you have a burden, you pray, and she will carry that burden. In my life, for quite a bunch of years in my life, I meditated with her a lot, and still do today. It's an indescribable joy to meditate with her, to pray with her, to worship her, to be close to her. An inexpressible intimacy and sweetness, and a profound knowledge is beyond faith, a profound knowledge that one is protected, that she will never ever let go. You see, if a child, to quote this metaphor from Paramahamsa Ramakrishna, if a child is walking in very unstable ground, and he's holding on to his father, or in this case, to adapt the metaphor, he's holding on to his mother like this with his little child hand, he might fall, because his hand is very weak and he's very small, like a small toddler. He might have a situation where if he takes a wrong step, he might fall. But if the mother is holding on strong to the child's hand, he will not fall. Even if his legs go, she's strong enough and she will carry him. So giving one's heart to Tara, opening to feel her, to manifest her, to be channels of her compassion, of her wisdom, she holds on to us. And then there's a euphoric joy and relief that you know you are held. You see, you meditate with her, and it's very pleasant, and you become similar, you become, to a degree, compassion, like she is compassion. And then the same life situation comes where I would, for example, get annoyed, or sometimes indifferent. I would also get indifferent to other people's suffering. And then this compassion, it gets infused through the meditation. And I would find myself, as many people that worship her, find themselves in the same situation, and this time with an immense care, an immense compassion. You know, there is a choice, you can follow that compassion or not. And if you follow that compassion, that is also an act of worshipping Tara. And you do something sweet, and sometimes a sacrifice for others, and it sweetens your heart. And she comes even closer, and then the meditations go even deeper, and then more and more of that compassion and care, and it extends and extends, and one enjoys service and Dharma. And then life becomes a worship of Tara. And the meditations are just the crowning of this life of service, and one becomes similar to her. And she just protects and sustains everything. The visions that appear, the light, the joy, the sweetness. And you can just start, I mean, in our school, you can go to the course, and then in the third year there is the whole study for several weeks of the teachings, and then you receive the mantra and the yantra, and you work with that. But even if you have no initiation, you can just repeat one of her long mantras, have a bit of a statue there, offer your heart, offer a candle, and just repeat one of these long mantras, Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha. They are there on the internet. You can just listen to it while you're driving or something, and just gently love her. And to quote from the Gita, in the same way that man comes to me, I come to them. If you love her a little bit and gently, she would also love you a little bit and gently, and it will be feelable. Then you will get the taste of it, and you'll be hungry, and you love her a lot, and she would love you a lot. and it would be the greatest love story you've ever had. So this is briefly about the sweetest, most extraordinary Tara. The worship of Tara is quite spread, and perhaps many of you have heard about her. Maybe you've already practiced, maybe you went to temples, maybe you meditate with her mantra. I'll be very curious to read a little bit your impressions and inspirations, or maybe this is the beginning for you, and I'll be happy to hear in the comments a bit more what's it like for you. If you like this video and want to learn more about Tantra, about yoga, about psychology, emotional healing, lives of saints and the scriptures,
then hit the bell, like, subscribe, and you'll never miss an upload. Thank you so much.